Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, and today's all about building a sick gaming PC for the right price. First up is the ASRock B550M Pro 4, which I am totally in love with. Unfortunately followed by the non-used Radeon RX 550, which I had kept my eye on for a while and it was disappointing. Followed by, of course, the AMD Ryzen 5 5600, which I absolutely adore. Followed by a crucial SSD, which you can't go wrong with. And finally, some HP DDR4 in Cobalt Edition. Yikes, beautiful. So the ASRock B550M is just the perfect motherboard to start off with a budget build. It has everything you need and expandability. That aesthetic is perfect, I think, for any color that you want to go with, especially because it's just black and kind of white or kind of silver, which is the kind of things that you would expect from a motherboard. There are some motherboards, of course, that go all crazy with different colors, but I think this is perfect for kind of like a base build. Rad. The AMD Ryzen 5600, I think, is the best bang for your buck. Best price for performance, aside from, of course, the i3, which is one of its competitors. Of course, the latest generation for Intel. The Ryzen chip, of course, is very heavy and not as sensitive as you would think it is. As a lot of TikTokers have shown us how you could just freeze these and kind of just pop them back in and they work. This is a budget build, which is of course why we could use the Wraith cooler that is included with the processor. And of course, this Wraith cooler does come with its pre-installed thermal paste. So we want to make sure that we line up that little tiny triangle that is on the corner of the processor with the little tiny triangle on the motherboard itself. When we lift the lever up, it actually reveals the little access holes for each of the pins that go in here. And when you just pop it in, you'll hear it snap. And then of course you lock it into place and you're all done. I do have to remove the AIO brackets because I won't be using that. Of course, I'll be using the included stock cooler that comes with the processor. Now, what's crazy is I've just started using a ice tray to be able to sort through my screws, and why the heck haven't I not been doing this for years? An issue I ran into with the Wraith cooler is, of course, the orientation. So the AMD logo that goes on the very top doesn't actually go to the top, it goes to the side in order to fit properly on this motherboard, which it was a little disappointing, and maybe the client doesn't really care, but I did. The HP DDR4, I often get asked, why do you use like HP? Oh, that's not gamer. Well, I would rather use a recognizable name brand over some sort of gamer style RAM, when you could just pay $2 or $3 more and get name recognition, right, with reliable performance. Rad. And then of course the dual channel has to be in specific slots, which typically needs to be slot number 2 and slot number 4. And the reason why this is done is because the manufacturers wire things as supposed efficiently to where this is the best way for them to save money. Then of course we do have the crucial SSD for the M2 slot, which is probably one of the best upgrades you could do in 2022. So I am ready to install the motherboard, and What I noticed, of course, is that some of the standing brackets don't quite line up, and which that is not a unusual thing that happens. So I will have to use a wrench to remove these standing brackets that look just like this in order for me to install it properly. And then of course I point to them.
My finger points.
And once they are in, the motherboard should line up nice. I decided to use a smart 500 watt power supply since the overall power requirements for this PC were about 380 watts. So I really feel that this is just a good balance, especially for a budget build, right? Because any little thing, you just keep going up and up and up and up in price. Now, unfortunately, these do come with kind of these different color exposed cabling like that, but oh well. In the future, these could be easily swapped out with some streamers. Then of course we do have like the SATA connection power and everything, so we can go ahead and do all sorts of things with it in the future if we'd like. Then we daisy chain some fans and good to go. The AMD Radeon RX 6500 is the perfect choice for a budget build around this price. You can't go wrong with it at all. As unsatisfied as I was with the 5550, which I was trying to use to save some money, I am the opposite, complete opposite of the spectrum about this graphics card. It is just perfect for gaming uses, and even more so for video and any other type of graphic design that may come across your way as well. And here's our build. The front of the PC itself from Raidmax has a cool design as well, which of course that's what I was looking for, some sort of mesh intake to make sure that there was plenty of airflow. So kudos to Raidmax for creating such an awesome cheap machine, or a cheap box I should say. Now I am trying out Call of Duty in about 1080p, which is giving me a result of about 140 frame rates per second, which is just fantastic, right? Anything above 100, the human eye can't really tell too much. And then of course, if you do go up like the resolution with like 4K, then you could tell a little bit more about the little nuances. Valorant, of course, is not as demanding as Call of Duty, but as you can see, it still continues to look great. I added the frame rate to the top, and you could actually see at this point that it's about 260 frame rates that we're averaging for this game. And by the way, isn't it upsetting that they removed split for the actual standard play? So the overall PC build is just fantastic. That mesh front really takes in a lot of air. And there you have it. It's a fantastic budget build in 2022. Alright guys, so that'll wrap it up for this one, and hopefully I inspired some of you to build your own PC.